aid in creating, and
Sorry
we
about that.
can, that's okay, not a problem. Um, You know your community best, and we can aid in creating a unique family engagement experience that suits your needs. So, this would be something where if you have a particular theme and you're looking for ideas, or we could help you come up with themes based on learning goals. Um, we also have ready to go family engagement kits, which we are in the process of revamping right now, which is very exciting. These are offer a variety of themes that include facilitation guides, supporting materials such as take-home activities for parents, and activity instructions that are available in both English and Spanish. So for the revamping of these guides, we are expanding the age groups so that they cover about ages 3 to about third grade. So they really cover a wider range than some of them that we've done in the past, in case you've participated with that. So, these activities or engagement kits are great for obviously events, personalized story times, and then also they can be used as a part of the passive programming. So, if you're interested in partnering with us with any of those opportunities, please reach out to me and we can discuss it. And lastly, today we're going to explore materials that focus on the summer reading theme. And today I'm going to tell you about our summer reading kickoff event kit that we created, which is a ready to use kit electronic kit to start the fun. And we've also created a calendar that contains themes for 4 weeks with books and activities to support the theme in a variety of ways. It can also be shared with families throughout the summer. And I want to make it clear that all of our offerings that I'm going to be talking to you about today, in fact, all of our offerings that we have are available to you at no cost. So we're going to start by talking about the calendar. And I know that you have a physical copy of the calendar in front of you. I will be sending out electronic copies of these resources to you after, sometime this afternoon so that you'll receive those in your email so that you can access these links. So I want to just kind of go over some of the highlights of this calendar. So this does is a calendar that is related to the theme. There are 4 different weeks with 4 different themes. What is a dinosaur? Fossils and paleontology, volcanoes, which is ever popular and fun, and habitats, which is another really fun one to take advantage of. I want to go over how you access these resources, and I want to highlight some of these resources that I think that would be particularly fun. Before I do that, I'd like to point out that at the bottom, the very bottom over here, there is a QR code, and this QR code goes to our education homepage on our website. So from May to July, we're going to be featuring this calendar. So if you provide, say, for families, right, families during summer, a printed copy of it, they can just scan this QR code and it will take them to the digital copy of the calendar. So let's start with the design. Design. I cannot talk today. Not designer. Dinosaur fat cards. Easy for me to say, huh? So they are available in English and in Spanish. And to be able to access any of these links, you just click on these hyperlinks here, and they take you directly to the resource. So the dinosaur fat cards, this one shows you the color version of them. They are available, like I said, in English and in Spanish. And there are quite a few cards. So there's just a variety of ways that you can use these fact cards. I'm going to talk about some of them when I talk about the event kit. And these are also available in black and white. And I linked those in the event kit. So this would be really fun to use some of these for a bulletin board or other activities that you can use or as a part of story time. Also, a part of story time that I think would be extra fun is this Move Like a Dinosaur, which is also available in English and in Spanish. Like I said, this is how you access the different languages. And the Move Like a Dinosaur is just super fun. Um, just walking like one kind of dinosaur, moving like another, sprinting, gliding, slithering, stomping, diving, flying, just different ways that you can add that music and move that movement to story times or other events because we know that when kids are moving, they're also learning. Another really fun thing I want to point out is this dinosaur A to Z, which is actually a part of a song, which from testing it in the past, I know you cannot hear the words, but it goes through a variety of dinosaurs, starting from the letter A to Z, just kind of a fun little catchy tune. And they introduce the different dinosaurs and have a different theme. So that's just a fun thing that you can do also. So the play together section, I'm going to talk about all these sections in a little bit, but the play together sections have digital games and sometimes they have offline games too. And one of the games that I'd like to highlight that's super fun that a lot of kids really enjoy and actually grown-ups is this Nature's Cat How's Big Day. I know that you can't hear it, so I'm just going to kind of play it through really quickly to show you. So what you do is you uncover different dinosaurs until you find you uncover different fossils. And I'm doing terrible, but you get the general idea. So that's just a fun game that I thought that I would point out to you. And I really want to point out kind of some Nebraska-based resources that are very specific. Um, there are under the digital media section, and there are four that we are highlighting. They're in these top 2 weeks. The first one is the Moral Hall, which is a virtual tour that allows you to explore Moral Hall. Obviously, it's really fun. I'm just trying to start the tour so you can get an idea. So you can really wanted this one. So you can look at different things within Moral Hall. They have different resources to open up an image to kind of talk about things. They also have the placards available so that you can read them through. And this is something that you can explore on a computer, you can explore it on a tablet or on a phone. This one probably would be a little bit more challenging on a phone, but there's just lots of different options available for exploring it. And like I said, just like the other resources, this is available for free. And then there is Exhibition Nebraska, which is a 3D resource that allows you to look at different animals that have been around in the past. And this does take a little bit of time here. For some reason, the link is not working for me. But this is a 3D interactive. Oh, this is way I clicked on the wrong link. I'm showing you bad examples. There are different ways you can access this through web, through the iOS app, Android, VR, in case you have those resources available to you. And this is just another way to explore animals that have been in the area in the past. So that you can explore different animals up close. And it tells you there's also information that you can click on about the individual animals. So that's something to take advantage of also. Then we've got two others I want to talk about. Probably my favorite is this Ash Falls Fossil Beds virtual tour. I would like to also point out that I just saw in the Nebraska Growing Readers newsletter this week that they have a brand new book out on paleontologists that's specific to Ash Falls bed that would be a really fun connection for an event or story time. So to access this one is a couple of extra clicks. So I want you to kind of pay attention to how to access it. First of all, you go to launch. And then there's an introduction, including this great video, but it's actually on the second page where you can access the virtual tour. And then you can start the tour that way. And last but not least, we have Paleo Sleuths. Paleo Sleuths was an hour-long documentary that we did, but there's lots of a variety of resources. One of my favorites, I feel like, for this topic is this What is Paleontology, which is about a minute long video that is explains paleontology and shows examples in Nebraska. But there's also these different timelines, these different 3D models to explore, and other things that are available to explore in that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the calendar, and then I'm going to have you look it over and kind of talk it through. I have gone over a lot of the details about it, but I just want to make sure that we kind of highlight the different things. That there is 4 weeks. They each have a different theme. With each theme, there is a read aloud book that would be suitable for a story time or to begin, say, a mini event. And then there's a hands-on activity. So the hands-on activity would be an activity that you would be able to do in person. And all but in one case, I think they would be very suitable for passive programming. The volcano one probably needs to have some supervision, but the other ones are definitely ones that you could set up and have them ready to go. This one is about creating your own fossils. And I like the extension activity, if you note afterwards, which is after you've created your own fossils. You then pretend you're a paleontologist, you discover this dinosaur, and you introduce your amazing discovery during an imaginary news interview. How fun is that? So, and then we have the play together section. The play together section is intended for intergenerational learning and play with an adult or with another child. There are a couple of different activities that are, or types of activities that are there. There's either an interactive digital activity, such as a game, which these two examples are digital games. And the way you access these is that they are available web-based, but they're also available in our free PBS Kids Games app. That app is available for iOS and Android. It is free. It has over 200 educational games for children and families to explore. And one of the things I really like about it for events, because we use it a lot for events too, is that you only need access to Wi-Fi to download the game. And then after that, you can turn off Wi-Fi, and then that makes sure that they're just able to access those particular games that you want them to focus on, which really helps narrow down that learning and just allows it to stay a little bit more focused. There are also offline activities and games that are available. I don't have them as an example for this one, of course, but one of the ones that I meant to show you online is a great cyber chase game. It's in the habitat section, and in that habitat section, it has, I think it's called like a create a habitat game. And it's a game that is done, you do it physically. They have two players. They create a different habitat in almost like a graph. And then they have an area for their food, for their shelter, for water, and so forth. And then it's kind of like a battleship style game that they play, like that board game, to explore it. And that's a really fun activity that is in that habitat, that fourth week section to look at. That's an example of a game that is an offline activity. And then we have the digital media section. The digital media section features short videos that you can look at that are specific to the topic. And then our virtual tours are also available over there, which I've highlighted. And as a reminder, these can be accessed on a computer, a tablet, or a phone. So I've been talking for quite a bit, and before I talk about the ways that I see that we can use the summer reading calendar, I want you to spend 5 minutes looking at the calendar. And then after you've read it, please share with those around you how you think you might use it. And then I will bring you back in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
For sure. Oh, that's extension. Yeah. I know we're gonna need it. Like you said, they see it wrong. So they're gonna make their own jump and then make comments. Look at the actual size of it. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're gonna get that. Me. Yeah. I was looking on my. Yes, and I'll get that. And I let her pull it up right there. Next time later of them interacting in ways and stuff like that. Yeah, it'd be nice. That's just right. And one of the ones that I was like, yeah, that's how I'm gonna book that. Fossils and stuff, and then like a bunch of information and like the trunks. But yeah, it was I baked her and like it's $45. You only get them for I think they all put it like but they got it. There's two different sides, like experienced kids and then like non-experienced kids, they're only like $20. They're still like. I mean, like any of this stuff, I don't think it's just bad in. Yeah, so. Not volcanoes on that, was really fun. I thought of it, and it was like. I'll get it back. They're cute, but like, that day was like, like, meet up at work, and then like, they're with the class, and I call it, so I think, instead of having to be a card where something back, just to make sure that I work out my day. Yeah. Like, you guys, but they're already done. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that that might be fun. Oh my God. I know. Yeah. I'm feeling yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, they're using their own. Salt those super easily, just that salt and then they can use it just like. I do that at home. Yeah. I mean, actually, to look we have.
Okay, so I'm going to bring you back. Thank you so much for the great conversations. So, what ideas did you come up with for using the calendar? Does anyone want to share?
Just trying to bring it back in.
Yep, I tried to bring you back in. Thank you. So I'm wondering, sorry to interrupt the great conversations. So I was wondering what ways that you're thinking that you can use this calendar, that you might use it. Does anyone willing to share out?
I'm definitely going to use a virtual tour of the fossil beds. I was actually looking at their website not that long ago, and I noticed that you could book a tour for someone to take you around. I didn't even notice that you could do just a access when you want virtual tour. So I will definitely be doing that.
That is awesome. I think it's a really fun tour. I think you'll enjoy it. Any other ideas anyone wants to share before I talk about the ideas I came up with?
Oh, I love the idea of the dinosaur dioramas for the shoe boxes. So we get a lot of donations of boxes, but also we can do a bring your own box. Little BYOB. And then yeah, then we can provide little, dinosaur figurines, little foliage, sand, some type of substrate. And I think that'd be great. So I love that idea. Especially with the book tie-in too. That's great.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun too. Any other ideas?
Your dinosaur fact cards are helping out with an issue that we were having, because we were trying to figure out how to get dinosaur facts for our novel adventures for the adults. So like, um, I think we might probably use those to help out with that, so that, the adults get to join in on the dinosaur fun.
Oh, that'll be fun. Well, I'm going to share, thank you very much for sharing ideas. I'm going to share my ideas if I can with my mouse. There we go. I have four different ideas that came to mind on different ways to use the summer reading calendar. The first one is having it as an easy, ready to use activities for summer reading kind of mini events. I picture these as hour-long events that start with a story time, have the activity, and then include one of the other activities, meaning the hands-on activity, and then include at least one of the other activities. I feel like that would be kind of a fun way to use the calendar. And then you can also distribute the calendar to children and families during the summer. Like I said, the QR code at that point will lead them to the electronic version of the calendar. You can either distribute them physically, or if you distribute them, say, as a part of your social media, we do ask that you tag Nebraska Public Media just so that we know that you're sharing our information. And then I think most of these hands-on activities would be great for some passive programming. I feel like ideally it would be nice to do them as a part of something larger, but they offer some options for passive programming. And then I think that they would offer some really extra fun to story times that are themed on based on the area or based on the ideas. Um, the the theme area is the words I was trying to go for. Uh, if you don't have the book that we suggested, I know that you guys have been getting a lot of great information about other books to use based on the theme, so they can just be interchanged at any time. Are there any questions before we move on to talking about the summer reading kickoff event guide? So you also have a copy of the summer reading kickoff facilitation guide. So what this is it is a pre-designed electronic family engagement kit that is ready to be used in your community. So what this has is that there are simple materials that you would need to gather, most of them that you probably have available or easily could gather for your library. We try to do low cost, easy to find materials. Um, and it also has instruction sheets on it for these intergenerational activities so that the instruction sheets are ready to be posted and they're available in English and in Spanish. So these are intergenerational activities for children ages 3 to 3rd grade and their families. I feel like some of them could skew down to maybe um, a 2.5-year old, maybe, but they could definitely skew up. And we do have different ways to talk about scaffolding those activities. And there are 4 stations of self-directed, literacy-filled, roaringly fun activities. I had to be a little bit punny, so there. Thank you for your for amusing me. And then these are flexible. With any of our kits, you're able to modify them for your community. So we want to make sure that they fit your community's needs. If there's something in there that you would like for us to help you modify, just reach out and we can help you with that. And if you don't want to do a kickoff event for whatever reason, maybe you already have a kickoff event planned, but you want to use these, you can use these at any time. And you can also piece it out, use them maybe for story times, for some passive programming, and for some other ways that you use activities throughout. So what is included in this guide? The facilitation guide has tips on preparing the event, materials list, and information on scaling the activities, like I mentioned, for a variety of ages. We want to make sure that there are ways to make this welcoming for all ages and all abilities so that there are information on including all learners. Additionally, the instructions for the activities are ready to be displayed already, and they're already translated for you, and they're in English and in Spanish. So this kit includes 4 different activities with modifications, like I said, to serve toddlers to 3rd graders, which I'm going to get into in more detail in the next slide. So there are 4 different stations. They each have different learning goals available to them. So the first one is a book station, and this is a literacy-focused station that encourages children to discover the wonders of dinosaurs through a variety of books related to the theme. So children and caregivers use a form to guide them through discussing and exploring what they've learned and through what they've read. So in this form, they can write out examples of what they've learned, or they can draw it out depending on their age. A copy of this is actually at the end of your facilitation packet, right after the instructions for this station, so you can look at it, and it is available in English and in Spanish. And as a reminder, I know you have physical copies of these, but that I will be sending out electronic copies, so all the links will be active for you to access the resources by Monday. So you'll have that available to you. So I did include a book list, a dinosaur book list, if you need it. I have a feeling that you have great ideas on what books to do, but just in case you wanted some additional ideas, there is a book list. And I would highly recommend you select books for a variety of ages just to really increase the impact of the station. The second station has a lot going on with it because there's a lot of different ways you can do it. And it uses those dino fact cards, and these uses the black and white version of the cards. The reason why I linked a different one into here is that these are, well, one, you might not want to print everything in color. And two, these are available 2 up. So the other ones that are in color are 1 per page, but I know there are ways to modify it so that you can shrink them down. But I just wanted to make you aware of that. So I really love these Dino Fact cards. I feel like they can be used in a variety of ways. And I really want to focus on using these as a part of various memory games. So these games support memory and problem solving. And you just pick the activity that suits your audience best, or I would recommend actually doing a couple of them, which I will talk about in a second. So for your youngest learners, I would recommend doing just a simple memory match game where you have 2 different copies of the fact cards, and they do kind of that matching game where they flip it over and match it. For your very youngest learners, Developmentally, I wouldn't go more than 10 to 15 cards, different dinosaurs. Doing all almost 50 as a flip would be really very overwhelming. But for older kids, that would be a fun extension activity. Another activity is sorting the cards in a variety of ways, such as by size, era, what they ate. And there is at the very end of these fact cards on the black and white version, there is different ways, like sheets you can print out for different ways to sort it. So that's already created for you. And then for your older kids, or for your families, playing kind of a guess in 10 game that encourages them to kind of guess what dinosaur someone is thinking. So I would think of this as almost like a 20 questions kind of game. So you would have two different players, at least two different players. One person would select a dinosaur that they're thinking of. The other one would have a set of cards, and they would ask questions like, um, is the dinosaur bigger or smaller than a person? Does it, is it a meat eater? And then they can use their cards to sort and problem solve and figure out what the dinosaur is. So I would recommend, like I said, that to offer either all the variations so that families can choose what works best for them, or at least offer a couple of different ones for the different age groups that you're serving. So the next activity is a recycled dinosaur craft, and really, truly, it's not an event without a craft, right? So the third activity uses recycled and reclaimed materials to allow children to either create a dinosaur that's lived in the past or one from their imagination. The instructions provide a variety of prompts to get them thinking about what kind of dinosaurs they would want to create, like based on what did they eat, what kind of environment did they live in, when did they live, is it bigger or smaller than a person? And this station really, I feel like, pairs well with the two stations before that I mentioned, that literacy station and those fact cards, because they've just explored different dinosaurs. So it really kind of unlocks their imagination. And finally, a media station. This can be done on computer or tablets. And for elementary age students, I really would encourage you to allow them to explore some of the Nebraska-based tours, such as that Ashfall Fossil Beds State Historical Park tour or Morrill Hall. Another option is using the Dinosaur Train Fossil Finders game that is playable via the website or through the PBS Kids game app, which I talked about. And for your youngest learners, um, creating a fossil finder box. This is something where you have fossils in the bottom of your box, or maybe you have mini dinosaurs that are hidden, or if you don't have different fossils, different fossil type things created, you could also just have pictures of dinosaurs on the bottom of the box, or pictures of dinosaur bones on the bottom of the box. And then kids brush away soil or sand to kind of unearth the fossils and other items that are in there. And then they could do different things like counting how many fossils they find and different other ways they can sort those things. And they can sort the things and, excuse me, they can sort what they find. So let's spend about a little under, we're going to do 5 minutes again. Let's look at the guide. I know it's a lot more to look at than the calendar, and then talk about ways that you might use it. And then we're going to kind of wrap it up with requirements and different other follow-up. So I will see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So it's every time. There's we're happy there. But I think this will be fun. To do. Yeah. So you have essentially like. The actual. I'm already. Yeah, maybe do that. I was just thinking. Yeah, there's, you know, another. Yeah, I think I use her. I learned right together. Yeah.
You're real.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I might, yeah. Yeah.
We don't do it at all. There's a lot of things out in the park, yeah, it's like the so last year, like they colored it, they were changed, and then we used to decorate the library. And this year, they pick up their dino, the dino thing, but I do need something else. Yeah, like, if I had a baby pool, it would like do the, find the faucet thing out of the baby pool, like, get a baby pool, and then I would have to store it or give it to me. I'm so glad. I used to have my shed. I'm not gonna bring my baby pool for my dogs, because I don't have a shed, we don't store baby. Yeah. Oops. That might be cool, because we got it like. Yeah, we kind of walk right in, I think I'm gonna start saying that. I just take a couple tubs and set them out. We have to get it. I actually do, you know, I knew that in the year. Just get it. So that might be a good, like, use the sand, throw it away, and then buy the new sand. It's still not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I know, it's good.
I'm also mounted, so I would have to run that when I first gonna be out, like, hey, you want sand? Exactly. Yeah, we have like five, like, huge, like, they're like the underhead. I use like. All we would need is just a couple tables, and we figure one of those out, then like, fine, fine. So, and then they could have like a dum dum, it's like, oh, you know, it's possible, there's no dum sucker. Yeah. That's like. And then so, you know, for
Thank you so much for the great conversation. I'm going to bring you back. I'm sorry to interrupt it. Does anyone want to share out any ideas that they have on how they might use it or what they're most excited about with the kit?
We really liked the memory game, the cards and the memory game and having that. We thought of a few different ways. We already have a kickoff event planned, but we are trying to plan activities like on a regular basis every Thursday at 3. And this might be a fun interactive way that we can bring families in to work together, but also just using the memory game more often throughout the summer, having it available, using it at story time, especially since you can modify it for different ages, like you said, with
Mhm.
how many. So that was our big one.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any other ideas that they want to share?
I really love their recycled materials dinosaur. We already do weekly cardboard open crafting. And so I love the idea of having the kids maybe earlier on in the summer, use that craft time to make their own dinosaur and then display those throughout the summer in the library as like a little way to brag on themselves and show their family and their friends.
That's really fun. I like that. I like the idea of displaying that. I hadn't thought about that. Any other um, ideas that people want to share? Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now we're going to talk about requirements, which are pretty minimal. A willingness to host a family engagement event, or if you're not going to do an event, because like someone mentioned, they already had their plans for their kickoff event. Use these activities for something throughout the summer, whether it be passive programming, other events, story times, whatever, and then hold that family engagement event or use it in some sort of way. And then after you use it, and ideally anyway, if you could complete a short event report just to share with us attendance numbers, feedback, and your favorite photos or videos if you have any to share. So, with feedback, that would be feedback both from what you've heard from children and families about the activity or about the event, and then also feedback that you have about the resources that we're providing. Maybe the activity, you feel like you really thought it went well. Maybe there were some slight modifications that you need to make. That would be great for us to know. And also, what you think in general of the resources that we're providing. We're trying to provide resources to be helpful to you. And in order to do that, we really just need to hear back from you about what's working and not working for you. We did create these resources after meeting with several libraries to talk about what they're looking for summer. So hopefully, we can just continue to improve it over the summer, over the different summers. So how to request. You already have it in front of you, and I'm sending it to you electronically. But I do ask that if you plan on using any of the activities, whether it's the calendar or the anything in the event guide, if you could just contact me, let me know, give me a heads up that you might be using that, just so that I can follow up later and make sure that you're being supported and see if there's any ways that we can modify things to help your community. I appreciate your time and attention today. Do you have any questions for me? Well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate all that you do. I just love libraries. I am a daughter of a librarian, so I've always had piece of my heart has always been with libraries. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. We appreciate all the great resources.